Thank you, Your Royal Highness. Again, food for thought, going back to questions of security, prosperity, resilience, flexibility, security against stability, bloodbath, tsunami, waves. Now, again, to open the discussion to our guests, I'm going to, are there microphones around?
Yes.
Right, okay. Now, could you please just, if you want to ask a question, first of all, tell us who you are, what institutional association you have, and if you have a particular question for one of the speakers, please let us know. If not, then I will take Chairman's prerogative and seek the help of my three distinguished guests. I can't see you, but you can see me. Ready that? And please try to keep your questions brief and to the point.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the esteemed panel, especially Your Royal Highness. My name is Mary Ayad. I'm doing my PhD in International Commercial Arbitration Law at Macquarie University. And my question actually is for Professor Bahgat Qurani. Could you please describe maybe more details as to how you believe that the Egyptian government can further facilitate democracy?
Well, it is not for the government to facilitate democracy. It is for the government to lift its hand out of repression on the people so that they can express their will. So that is the first thing. I mean, you had in Egypt, whatever our views about Arab Spring, and it is not yet decided, you had before January 25th a police state. People were arrested. Human rights were violated constantly. Corruption was rampant. Once you start correcting some of these aspects, you are already on the right track toward democracy. Eastern Europe is taking about 20 years to achieve democratization. I am hoping that the period of flux, chaos, after a long time of stagnation, would be much less than that. But we have to be realistic. You are going to have a short term and medium term where things are going to be in flux. In Tunisia, already 44 political parties are asking for admission. In Egypt, already 72. That is not yet democracy, but I think this is a prerequisite for people to choose their fate. So it is the people that will decide, not the government. And that is the essence of democracy.
Thank you very much indeed. I hope it will not be regarded as a principle of interference if I were to ask my other two guests to express opinions if they'd like to respond to that question.
As I said in my remarks, in the kingdom we have no false pride as to where we stand in our process of development. We're only just over 80-some years old, and we still have a long way to go. But we have set certain ground rules for our path to the future. In the basic law of the kingdom, if you look at it, the first article states very clearly the identity of the kingdom as an Arab and Muslim state, and that its constitution is the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him. So there you have the general view of what the kingdom is. Under that, in other articles of the basic law, protection for human rights and other considerations for women's rights, for the rights of other minorities in the kingdom are also spelled out. Like all young countries, and even, I might say, one of the most ancient democracies, which is Britain, there are still some lackings in the implementation of these principles. And so whereas the kingdom has put these basic principles in what defines our identity and our ethos as a people and as a country, developing those into implementation and practice will take some time. Let me just give you one example. Many of you will know what the bay'ah is as a concept in Islam, which is the contract between the ruler and the ruled. And this has been practiced since the days of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Basically, the ruler, in return for the ruled support for him to be the ruler, will provide protection of rights, protection of livelihood, protection of borders, etc., etc. And the ruled are supposed to provide the ruler with all the support that they can give him in this ambitious plan of work that he has taken upon himself. And the basic exception to that is that the ruled have the right to change the ruler should he deviate from the teachings of God. So there is a catch there that the ruler has to keep in mind all the time when he is dealing with the people that he rules. The concept of al-bay'ah has not developed much in the Muslim world as a process of, let's say, election by the ruler, by the ruled to the rulers. But another concept that comes with it is the concept of Ahl al-Hal wal-Aqd, those who untie the knot and tie it, meaning probably the notables in the society. In the kingdom's case, the Ahl al-Hal wal-Aqd has already been defined. It is the senior ulama of the kingdom, the council of ministers, and now the council, the Shura council, the royal family, and chiefs of tribes, and prominent business and academic people in the society. So when a king becomes king in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the bay'ah is given to him by these Ahl al-Hal wal-Aqd. But it doesn't simply stand there. It's not just this electoral college that elects the king. The people also have an obligation to offer the bay'ah to the ruler. And there is a saying of the Prophet that he who dies without a bay'ah around his neck is not among our community, or words to that effect. So the bay'ah is a very important principle to legitimize the ruler's rulership over the ruled. And it also is an obligation on both sides in that contractual description that I gave you. I think this is where the kingdom is heading as more and more participatory government comes into place, whether through municipal councils or in the future through the regional councils or even the Majlis al-Shura. In previous such discussions, I've maintained that the necessity for the people to elect members of the Shura Council is paramount. And I think this is where the kingdom is heading.
Thank you,
sir.
Your Excellency.
Sure, sir. Well, I'll try to answer some of your questions. But before I do that, I really feel and believe that the Egyptian people have the will, and they have always demonstrated their ability to solve problems in peaceful manners, and their determination in achieving their objectives. When they set their mind on something to achieve, they do. And we really looking forward for the strong Egypt that we always want and need, and we knew, and to play its role in the Arab League. We are standing and extending hands to help in whatever areas that they want us to help them with. Also, I think Professor Bahjet indicated the requirement of policing. I think I do support his suggestion. And that reminds me, if you want to create a safe and secure environment for democracy to flourish, then you really need good policing, community policing, and policing that can work with the community. And that reminds me of what King Hamad in Bahrain has instructed when he started his political reform 10 years ago. He instructed the police to, with 3 mandates, create the environment so that you can uphold the law, that the democracy will be protected, so freedom of expression, etc., will be protected, and that human rights will be respected. So these are the 3 mandates that King Hamad has instructed the police to carry out in Bahrain. And so I do concur with the idea of policing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. There are lots of hands, so I'm going to take 2 questions.